Hey, what's up, gang? It is Matt with OddsJam, and today's video just going to be talking about Super Bowl MVP props. Obviously, I have the screen up here on BetMGM just to show the odds. No surprise that the two quarterbacks are the heavy favorites here. I do like the fact that they're both plus money. I did some research on just the history behind the Super Bowl MVP, and there's been 55 Super Bowls, and 31 of the times a quarterback has won MVP. So obviously over 50% of the time, the heavy favorite. In the past 10 years alone, only 3 non-quarterbacks have won the MVP. That would be 2 defensive players, Von Miller, Malcolm Smith, and that would be wide receiver Julian Edelman in the Patriots' last Super Bowl win, which was funny enough against the Rams in just a horribly gross offensive game. I think the final score was like 13-3. The Rams didn't score until the fourth quarter, just gross. So it's not surprising here to say that the quarterbacks are the heavy favorites. I don't hate the process and logic of just betting both quarterbacks because they're both plus money. So all you need to have is one of them to win MVP and you'll profit. So you bet Joe Burrow at plus 225. You bet Matt Stafford at plus 135. No matter what happens, assuming that the MVP award goes chalk, then you'll profit, right? For my pick, I'll give you my favorite pick. It's Joe Burrow. I do think the Bengals win the Super Bowl. It's hard for me to envision a scenario in which the Bengals win the Super Bowl and the MVP isn't Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is much more synonymous with the Bengals than Matt Stafford is with the Rams. So I actually could see a scenario in which the Rams win the Super Bowl, but Matt Stafford is not MVP. There's a ton of star talent on that Rams team aside from Matt Stafford. And the Bengals team, while they obviously do have talent, that's Joe Burrow's team through and through. Jamar Chase is great. He's incredible. They have really good weapons in a running back, Joe Mixon, and other receivers, T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. But make no mistake, this is Joe Burrow's team. It's not Matt Stafford's team. So my official pick is going to be, I'm going to go chalk and take Joe Burrow. I do have, just to give some picks in other categories, my favorite non-quarterback, including both teams to win MVP, is actually going to go ahead and be Aaron Donald. I could see this as being a scenario similar to the Tennessee game in which Joe Burrow just cannot get time to do anything. Despite throwing for a lot of yards, I think Joe Burrow was sacked 9 times in that Tennessee game, and he just constantly had pressure in his face. So if a non-quarterback is going to win MVP, I love this Aaron Donald at plus 1,200. I like it more than Cooper Kupp because generally, if Cooper Kupp has a great game, then Matt Stafford also has a great game, and they just love giving it to the quarterbacks with these. So, obviously I can see a scenario in which Kupp has like 200 yards, 3 touchdowns, something crazy like that, and he wins MVP. But for my money, getting it at plus 1,200, double the odds of Cooper Kupp, I love for Aaron Donald as my favorite non-quarterback. So that's 2 picks. My favorite, Joe Burrow. Favorite non-quarterback, Aaron Donald. If I had to give, if the Bengals win the Super Bowl, and I guess I'll just get this out of the way now. Only one time in Super Bowl history has a player from the losing team won MVP. So when you're placing these Super Bowl MVP bets, just base it on who you think is going to win. So again, I think the Bengals win. I'm taking Joe Burrow. If you think the Rams win, then I really like the Aaron Donald selection. Honestly, over Matt Stafford, just because the value is so great. But if I had to pick, let's say the Bengals win the Super Bowl and Joe Burrow doesn't win MVP, then this is going to go chalk again. But I think it's probably going to be Jamar Chase. I'm not scared of Ramsey possibly shadowing Jamar Chase. The Bengals like to move him around, and Jamar Chase is one of those guys where he could just take a screen to the house. So he could be shadowed by Ramsey the whole game, but he could take a screen 70 yards. He could take a slant 70 yards, something like that. So I'll go chalk again there. If my favorite non-quarterback Bengals MVP is going to be Jamar Chase. So that's 3 picks total. One scenario in which I just don't even think it's worth putting money on is a non-offensive Bengals player winning MVP. Obviously, the Bengals don't have a terrible defense. They did a really good job shutting down Pat Mahomes last week, but none of that was based on an individual just being crazy. The Rams have a ton of star talent on defense. They got Donald, they have Von Miller, they have Jalen Ramsey, ton of star talent. I would surmise that the average football fan couldn't name a single player on the Bengals defense. The player on the Bengals defense that has the best odds is Trey Hendrickson, their starting defensive end, who's a really good player, but he's not, doesn't remotely have the name value that a Von Miller and an Aaron Donald does. And he's also not nearly the game wrecker that either of those two are. He's just a good player, which is nothing wrong with that, but good players generally don't win the Super Bowl MVP. It's rare to have like a Malcolm Smith where he's a good, again, good player, probably didn't have a ton of name recognition, he did win the Super Bowl MVP. He had a great game. He had a pick six. But again, I don't really see a scenario in which the Bengals win the Super Bowl and a defensive player wins MVP. Maybe it could be Trey Hendrickson, their other good player. They have Mike Hilton's a good slot corner. They have a Chidobe Awuzie, good cornerback, Von Bell, good safety. But none of that I think is worth putting any money on. If I'm betting the Bengals, I would bet Burrow. And if not Burrow, I would bet one of his receivers. I don't hate some T. Higgins action. T. Higgins is incredible. He's obviously not the player Jamar Chase is, and he's not Burrow's favorite target, but he has out targeted Jamar Chase in the past. Sometimes in the past 10 weeks, I believe 5 out of the last 10 weeks, he's out targeted him. But again, I would rather choose Jamar Chase. Other than that, if I had to give just like a ridiculous, crazy MVP odds, like plus 10,000 or worse. Why not Jalen Ramsey, right? If it's going to be a game where Jamar Chase does absolutely nothing, Jalen Ramsey could certainly get some MVP buzz. Him having the same odds as Trey Hendrickson, the Bengals kicker, Kendall Blanton, I think is kind of not disrespectful. I think it's I could see there being value in Ramsey. He's a ball hawk. You pretty much have to cause a turnover as a defensive player to win MVP. I believe only one player on defense has won MVP and not turned the ball over. So he would have to have an interception or two. And I could definitely see that happening. If it's not Aaron Donald, I could definitely see it being Jalen Ramsey. So to categorize all my picks for you, my favorite pick, Joe Burrow, plus 225. My favorite non-quarterback pick, Aaron Donald, plus 1,200. My favorite non-Bengals quarterback, non-Bengals quarterback, non-Joe Burrow, is Jamar Chase. And if I had to give a crazy long shot, I would choose Jalen Ramsey at plus 10,000. But, it's fun betting on these Super Bowl odds. It generally is always going to be the quarterback, especially if someone like Joe Burrow wins, who has such name value. Obviously, Brady's won a ton. Rodgers won his. Nick Foles won a Super Bowl MVP. Don't let anybody tell you that's not true. So it's probably going to be a quarterback, but I do love some of these long shots, especially the Aaron Donald one. I think is really juicy if the Rams win the Super Bowl. But I would love to hear your feedback. So if you're tailing these, please let me know. Send me your bet slips. I'd love to hear it. If you disagree, you think I'm an idiot, that's totally fine. I'd love to hear your feedback there as well. Other than that, please remember to rate, review, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Help us grow and reach as many people as possible so we can all cash together. And that's all I got for you. So happy betting, happy watching, and good luck.